Did you know that the story of Frankenstein wasn't just born from imagination, but from a series of eerie events, tragic inspiration, and unsettling scientific experiments that were as controversial as they were groundbreaking? Today, we uncover the dark truths and shocking curiosities behind Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, a tale that has haunted humanity for over 2 centuries. This is not just the story of a fictional monster, but of the fascinating, and sometimes horrifying, reality that inspired it. The birth of a nightmare. Let's start with a scene that feels straight out of a Gothic novel itself. It was the summer of 1816, known as the Year Without a Summer. The world was reeling from the eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia, a catastrophic event that had plunged the planet into a volcanic winter. Crops failed, skies darkened, and famine swept across continents. In Europe, the haunting atmosphere felt almost apocalyptic. Amid this gloom, a group of literary legends gathered at a villa by Lake Geneva in Switzerland. Among them were Lord Byron, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and an 18-year-old Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin, who would later become Mary Shelley. They were trapped indoors by relentless storms, and Byron suggested a challenge: each person would write a ghost story to entertain the group. What began as a playful contest led Mary to create a tale that would forever change literature and horror. But where did this chilling idea come from? The answer lies in a combination of her personal tragedies and the bizarre scientific experiments of her time. The science that inspired the monster. In the late 18th and early 19th centuries, science was pushing boundaries, often in ways that teetered on the edge of morality. One of the most fascinating and grotesque fields of study was galvanism, the process of using electricity to stimulate muscle movement in the recently deceased. Mary Shelley was deeply influenced by the work of Luigi Galvani, an Italian scientist who discovered that electricity could cause dead frogs' legs to twitch and jerk. His nephew, Giovanni Aldini, took these experiments further, performing public demonstrations on human corpses. In one infamous case in 1803, Aldini applied electrical currents to the body of a hanged man named George Foster. To the horror of onlookers, Foster's face twitched, his eyes opened, and his limbs moved as if he were alive. Imagine witnessing such a display, science blurring the line between life and death. For Mary Shelley, who had an intellectual curiosity and a fascination with life's mysteries, these experiments planted the seeds for Frankenstein's monster. The personal tragedy behind the tale. But Mary's inspiration wasn't purely scientific. Her life was marked by profound loss and suffering, and these experiences deeply influenced the themes of Frankenstein. By the time she wrote the novel, Mary had already lost her mother, the famed feminist Mary Wollstonecraft, who died shortly after giving birth to her. This sense of loss shaped Mary's understanding of life and death. Then came her tumultuous relationship with Percy Shelley, a brilliant but deeply flawed poet. Their romance was marred by scandal, financial instability, and the deaths of their children. Mary endured the pain of losing 3 of her 4 children before they reached adulthood. It's no wonder her writing explored themes of creation, destruction, and the consequences of playing God. The real-life inspirations for Victor Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein, the ambitious scientist in Mary's novel, may have been inspired by real people, individuals whose experiments and obsessions mirrored his own dangerous pursuit of knowledge. One such figure was Johann Conrad Dippel, a controversial alchemist born in Castle Frankenstein in Germany. Dippel was rumored to experiment with cadavers, attempting to transfer souls and create life through unorthodox methods. He even dabbled in chemistry, producing a substance called Dippel's oil, which he claimed could extend life. Though there's no direct evidence Mary Shelley knew of Dippel, the eerie parallels between his work and Victor Frankenstein's pursuits are hard to ignore. The monster without a name. Here's a detail that surprises many readers. Frankenstein is not the monster's name. Victor Frankenstein is the scientist, while the creature he brings to life is never given a name. This omission is no accident. Mary Shelley deliberately left the monster unnamed to emphasize his abandonment and lack of identity. The creature is rejected by his creator, by society, and even by himself, leading to his descent into violence and tragedy. This raises a chilling question: who is the real monster in the story, the creature, or the man who gave him life and then abandoned him? The creepy legacy of Frankenstein. As if the story itself weren't haunting enough, the legacy of Frankenstein is filled with eerie coincidences and tragedies. Mary Shelley's life continued to be marked by loss. Percy Shelley drowned in a sailing accident at just 29 years old, leaving Mary to raise their surviving son alone. She lived to see Frankenstein become a cultural phenomenon, but she was haunted by the idea that her greatest creation was also a reflection of her personal grief and fears. Even today, the novel resonates in ways Mary couldn't have imagined. The ethical dilemmas Victor Frankenstein faced, should we create life just because we can, are more relevant than ever in the age of genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, and cloning. Frankenstein's warning to the world. At its core, Frankenstein is more than a horror story. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the ethical responsibilities that come with knowledge. Victor Frankenstein's downfall wasn't his ability to create life, it was his failure to take responsibility for what he had created. He sought glory without considering the consequences, and in doing so, he unleashed a chain of suffering that destroyed everything he loved. The message is clear: the pursuit of progress must be balanced with wisdom, compassion, and humility. Without these, even the most brilliant achievements can lead to disaster. The enduring mystery. And so, Frankenstein endures, not just as a work of fiction, but as a mirror reflecting our own fears, ambitions, and moral dilemmas. It asks questions we're still grappling with today. Where should the boundaries of science and innovation lie? And what happens when we cross them? Perhaps that's why Mary Shelley's creation has never been forgotten. It's not just a tale of horror, but a story of humanity, its brilliance, its flaws, and its unrelenting curiosity. So, what do you think? Is Frankenstein merely a gothic horror, or is it a prophecy of the ethical challenges we face in our modern world? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed uncovering these dark and fascinating truths, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. There's more history, mystery, and intrigue where this came from. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Stay tuned. Until next time.